Hi guys, welcome to the little wood shop. Very upside down little wood shop at the moment. I'm busy with lots of stuff. I'm busy making picture frames for my mother, busy making bolt-on carvers for a friend. Those two pieces of planks that's lying there glued up, one is to make a base for the lamp a bit bigger. The lamp keeps on falling over, so the customer wants a bigger base. The bigger glue up there is for our friend Jan the artist. I must cut some shapes for him. I'm still busy with a little office desk, and we're also busy with a cedar rack that we're building. So it's all upside down. I just quickly have to now, first before I continue with any of this, quickly make a few of the perspex bender jigs that we built last week. They worked. The customer accepted the quote, and I must quickly make him 10 of those, and then also some clamps. So I'm going to do that quickly because the customer is in quite a rush. He needs to finish an order. So let's start with that and get this week going. So first things first guys, that's the 10 parts cut for 5 of these boxes or jigs. And I'm first going to quickly set the height for the little 8mm deep slot, and then 20mm from the edge. Set that, then just quickly cut the 5 slots and you take it from there. So what I've done here guys is my throat plate on my bandsaw is very holy, and the small pieces fall in there and get captured. So I just took a piece of old 9mm MDF, cut a hole through it, clamped it, and now I've got a zero clearance and the little pieces won't fall in there. So guys, that's another batch done. So the basics of this is when they're gonna warm up the perspex on a hot wire bender and put it in there in the slot, close it, and then when it's closed, these very basic clamps is just to keep it closed and flat until it is cooled down. That's it. Another batch are then done. We can quickly go to the next project. So guys, the next thing we're going to do is for Jan Kutsi, I'm going to cut the shapes out. He was so nice as to make me a template of exactly the size he wants. And I marked it out, one this way and one that way, on the board that me and Koenraad glued up last night. And thanks again Koenraad, that man has got an eye for detail and he loves a sharp plane. He planed this wood to absolute perfection, and then we glued it, and you really, once this is cut, I dare anyone to come and find the joint in this wood. Thank you Koenraad, perfect joint. So I'm going to cut it now on the bandsaw, and I'm going to cut it rough on the 2 shapes, and then also he wants 2 circles or 2 discs cut, and I'm going to get that out of the same piece of wood we glued up. So quickly to the bandsaw, cut this out, and then lots and lots of sanding. So after a bunch of bandsaw cutting, the two shapes are now roughed out. Now it's a lot of sanding with a bobbin sander and hand sanding, I suppose, to get into little corners, breaking the corners, making them nice. So the two discs and the two shapes are now cut. And now it's just getting them around, getting them finished. So guys, now lots of sanding on these two projects. While I'm busy with the bobbin sander, I'm somewhere going to sand the little office desks curves as well. And my way of doing that, of making exact copies of each other, I stick them together with double-sided glue, or double-sided tape, which helps to make the copy, and then it makes the surface wider. So the chances of me doing that on the sander is much less because I got a larger surface. So I'm quickly going to stick them together and then start sanding on the bobbin sander. It's now the shaping of this done. This is the template the customer gave me, and the most important dimensions here is the inside diameter, because there's some circles that must go in here, and I hope Jan will send us some pictures when he's done with this. This is quite a very nice art piece he's busy with. So now I'm gonna separate the two and then do some hand sanding, and then they are done. Guys, something else that Jan also wants is some discs. That's about 172 millimeters if I measure correctly on his template. So I made a quick and simple jig, just a piece of offcut. Drill the hole, put the 6 millimeter dowel in there. Mark the centers of the discs and then drill 6 millimeter holes in here. So all I'm doing now is putting the hole in the disc, clamp this on a disc sander, and then sand up to the line that I just marked. Let me show you. What I've done, guys, I just clamped it on one end so that I still have some movement on this side, so I can sand up to the line as I go. I want to get done is the lamp that's got the small base that I'm just making a new base for. I decided on a 200 millimeter diameter. I marked it. This is the piece of wood key art we glued up earlier this week, and I just want the dark wood because this is dark, and I'm just going to stain it then to match this color. So I'm going to use my bandsaw jig. I just moved the pin to 100 millimeter center to the blade, and that's the same old jig I've been using for so long that we're quickly gonna use this on. So guys, I think I showed you the circle cutting jig before. So I just drilled my center and then put a pin 100 millimeters from the blade. It's got a cleat that slides on the table saw fence, on the table saw top, and all I'm doing now is finding the hole, get this in the jig, And then I put a stop block so that the center of my pin stops to the front of my blade. So as I cut, I will push this towards the stop block and then cut the circle. After quickly sanding it on a disc sander, got a nice edge on it. I just sanded it with the orbital sander, nice and smooth top and bottom. And now I'm just going to give it a nice big round over. Stain it a darker color to see if we can match this. And then fix it to the lamp. So guys, for me, in order on the little office desk to close these two holes, what I decided to do is I'm going to plug them. I'm going to drill the holes to a drill bit size that's similar to my plug cutter, and then with the plug cutter I'm going to select a piece of wood that's got the same grain and the same color to see how close I can match it. But to drill this, the drill will run around in the hole. So what I do is I take a dowel, super glue it in there just to give me a center again, cut them off and then drill it out. Let me show you. So guys, me and Conrad is busy with a tower rack from cedarwood, and as you've seen in the time lapse, we've just quickly cut the tenons on the little rails, and now we must make the mortises in the style. So guys, a quick update on the little office desk. I finished the mortise and tenons, did some router work, sanded it, the braces, sanded the draw box, not completely. Most of it, just while it was apart, it was easy to sand the big parts. There's still a bunch of hand sanding left on the draw box and some filling and stuff, but everything is now ready for the glue up. So I'm going to glue up the legs to the draw box now, like you can see it here. Everything is now square, straight, tenons fit nicely, and then I'm going to put it one side. There's still a bunch of work left on the drawers. There's some of the finger joints that came loose everywhere. The drawer fronts is very holy. There's lots of holes, lots of sanding left to do. So this week we're not going to get to varnishing this project, unfortunately. Like I promised, there's just too much little jobs to be done still to make it perfect. And there was also a bunch of other work that crept in. It took some time. Me and Conrad finished bolt-on carver blocks for the customer, 5 of them. Came out very nicely. I did the little lamp for my wife's customer, also a favor for a friend, and then of course the Perspex bending jigs that we've made this week took a lot of time, and then also Jan could see us little thingamajiggies that we made. But I wanted to get rid of a bunch of small things so that I can continue with the larger projects. And yes, that took away a lot of time from the little office desk. So we're not going to varnish it this weekend, unfortunately. Maybe next weekend, I hope so. I'm not going to make promises. But first, after I glued this up and put it one side, I really have to tidy up and clean up this workshop. It's in a state, it's in an absolute horrible state, this workshop at the moment. There's half done projects lying all over the place, and I just need to tidy up. So let's get this glued up and then start cleaning. Another week. It was a very busy week, lots of small little jobs. I finished 10 little jigs for bending the Perspex for a customer. They gone out of the shop. Me and Koenraad also finished the 5 blocks that's going to Springbok, the guy that's making the bottom carvers. They done, came out very beautiful. I didn't make footage of that, sorry, but they came out very nice. I think the customer will be happy. I also then, the lamp that I just made the base a bit bigger. I started with Kiat, which is much lighter than the Emboya that the lamp is made of. And to get the Kiat the same color or close to the same color, in this case, I first gave it 2 coats of Nova Stain mahogany and then a final coat of Nova Stain ebony. Just a very light ebony coat, just to make it darker, and I think it matches quite nicely. It still needs 1 coat of polyurethane and then a bit of sanding and polishing, but then this is done. We also done Jan Coetzee's little thingamajiggies. I'm not sure what you're going to call this, but hopefully Jan will show us once this is done what it looks like. Lots of hand sanding involved here and lots of time spent on it. But they're done, and we have another happy customer. Then also I continued on the little office desk. I didn't get as far as I would have liked to. The legs are back in, the braces between the leg and the drawer box, it's all in. I just have to now drill the dowels and put the dowels in and then finish the hand sanding and do the edging, of course, on the top. I'm just trying to find the right router bit for that before I do that. So I was hoping to by this weekend finish this, but time flew and time went faster than what I could keep up. Today I basically just cleaned the workshop. This workshop was in a state. We did loads and loads of woodwork and we made dust. So what I usually do when I clean the workshop is I sweep up the most, whatever I can find, all the sawdust, sweep it up, get the worst out of it. Then I take my blower and I start in the back and I blow towards the door and I just get all the fine dust everywhere out. I do use the air filtration system and I do use my big dust collector and small dust collectors for the smaller machines, but still there's lots of dust around the workshop. It's clean now, it's ready for next week, and we can do some nice projects for next week. We're planning on, me and Kunrad need to finish the towel rack. We have to start on a coffee table and a dining room table for a customer. Then I still have a wedding box to build from American walnut. That has to be, I really want to start with that next week. So lots of work coming up, new projects, but there's a bunch of small things that's gone and out of the workshop, and maybe now we can spend some time on the bigger stuff, get some fresh projects in the workshop. So guys, yes, it was a nice week. The weather is turning our way, nice and warm in the evenings, or warmer in the evenings, and we hope next week is going to be just as nice. So guys, for next week, make some dust, but most of all, stay safe, stay healthy, and enjoy the week. Thank you.